How we do, folks? Your boy Marcus on 205 numbers after the name, back from a little work slash life, like vacation hiatus slash just like working a lot hiatus, which isn't a hiatus, but we could use the word hiatus loosely. We're gonna knock out a couple more games here that we've been playing, that we've beaten around this year, man. So, Child of Light. This one's been on my radar for a minute. It was an RPG, one of those UBR RPGs, Ubisoft RPGs that came out pretty early on in the life cycle for the Xbox One, PS4 kind of thing. And I got it free eventually on those. But I figured it was a game I would like, and I think it was really cheap on the Switch, so I was like, this is a Switch kind of game that I'll play on there, let me get it. I did not anticipate exactly what I was getting. I knew it was a turn-based RPG type game. That I did. Like, I knew there was parties, and I knew that you kind of attacked that way. That part I knew. I didn't really know much about the story at all, or anything at all about the story. And I damn sure didn't know about the world traversal and the length that your party could go at, the extension that your party has. I was pleasantly surprised in everything, with the exception of the art style a little bit. Let's get to the combat and stuff. Turn-based kind of combat works very well. I probably would prefer if my party were a little bit bigger. 2 seems a little bit limiting, and I get why when you play the game. It kind of just fits, it makes sense. But it just ultimately feels a little bit limiting. I kind of ended up rolling with like the same 2 people until they'll get hurt a lot, and then I would just roll in 2 other people in there. There were some characters I just didn't use. Now that happens, you know, that's like, you know, the equivalent of having like a Blastoise and putting Tail Whip on it and using it all the time. Like, I always just use Hydro Pump. I'm a simple kind of guy, like that kind of way. So in that sense, I kind of get why there's some characters here that I was like, I don't really need all that passivity in my life. And I probably could have mixed and matched and, you know, looked at the numbers and cranked it out and done a better job. But I wasn't going to do it. I just wasn't about that kind of life. So, you know, I kind of just went attack heavy for the most part, and that's kind of it. But there are some characters that just turn out to be better than other characters, and there's some characters in my party that I just never used, really. I was like, I don't know, unless like I just needed somebody to take a hit and just kind of be a sponge in that way. But overall, it's just turn-based combat. You know, enemies have certain weaknesses, certain strengths. You kind of learn that. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. Just a 2-party system for you, more for them, and you do get to move your cursor around the screen sometimes and pick up some power-ups and stuff like that, or, you know, healing things or stuff that move you a little bit more on the timeline for the action move and stuff like that. So there are pluses in that sense. The graphical style, I don't think it's bad, but it is not for me. You know, I much would prefer this game were like a 2D pixelated type game, or I don't know, 2D might not even. Oh yeah, it is 2D. Yeah, it just has like 3D kind of looking environments, but it's 2D. It's very floaty, move around. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's light, so that's cool. No pun intended on the light part of it, but like it's just easy and free going to kind of move around and stuff like that. So that part is a positive about it, but I don't know. To me, it felt a little bit loose at times, and you kind of know where to go for the most part, which is good. But I don't know. Graphically for me, it didn't hit like the spot where I wanted it to hit. But it's a different type of game, man. And it's really a shame that like Ubisoft didn't keep this commitment. Now, it might be a financial thing too. Maybe no one bought it. So I mean, that's that. Because they did have like with Valiant Hearts, a couple of the games that Ubisoft, and I think I've played them all at this point. I mean, Rayman I think falls under that jurisdiction too. I guess they just didn't make enough money, and we just keep pumping out Watch Dogs instead. But I would much prefer to see some more of these smaller and different types of things from Ubisoft than just another Watch Dogs kind of game. Keep giving the Assassin's Creed ones. Those are I'm about to sit down and play Valhalla. I might. I don't know. I'm going to Far Cry 6 now. I'm trying to get my ass off Diablo 2. If you need to know what I'm playing, I'm trying to get my ass off of Diablo 2 Resurrected because I'm playing Diablo 2 like all the time. And I'm hoping to get into a little Far Cry 6, which I've heard is just more Far Cry, which is a negative for some, but for some that haven't played a Far Cry since 5 and really haven't even thought about Far Cry at all and don't really care necessarily that much about Far Cry, but we just want to have a good old time. I'm cool to get on 6 over there. I kind of cleared the first outpost. That's kind of where I'm at, like I said. So very, very early on in the game, working my way through everything. So far, so good. Looks very good. I will say that. At times, there's some things that don't look that great. But Child of Light, if you're looking for a light turn-based RPG, this is for you.